No excuse whatsoever. Now, your book. Tell me a little bit about your book. I want to get people to, if they're interested in it, where they can get it. What's it about?
It's called Get Your Story Straight. It's on Amazon. Like I said, it kind of grew out of my teaching for UCLA, and in it I really go into what I think are the important elements of a functioning screenplay. And I use a lot of examples. Like I was saying, I dissect a movie at the end of, maybe not every chapter, but almost every chapter, including Iron Man and King's Speech and Sideways and Tootsie and Toy Story. So they're kind of all over the map. Thelma and Louise, you know,
Classic.
A lot of them are winning screenplays. Yeah, genius. Thelma and Louise so holds up. It's amazing how well that movie holds up.
So good. So good.
It's so good. It's so good. That sequence, I'm just going to go off on a tangent here quickly. The sequence, because sometimes I talk about turnarounds, the sequence where they get stopped by the cop and Thelma, you know, starts in that sequence as like a little girl. You know, she's like, please, 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 please don't let us get stopped. Please don't let us get stopped. You know, and then the cop comes up to the car, and then she's sort of coquettish. You know, it's like, officer, I told her to slow down. You know, and that doesn't work either. And he makes Louise get out of the car and makes her go sit in the police car. And then, you know, Thelma appears at the window with the gun and starts calling the shots.
Oh,
you know,
so
like,
brilliant.
Shoot the radio. I mean, so you see that character arc in that sequence, you know, and it's just so brilliant. And it's so brilliant, too, because you believe it. Right? Because we know she's met Brad Pitt, and we know there's money being stolen, and we know, you know, she's desperate at this point. She's also, you know, had this little quick romance with him, and yet he's taken their money, but he's taught her how to rob. I mean, so it's not like it's not set up. You know, it like you don't see it coming, yet at the same time, it's like, well, yeah, I could buy that she would do that. So
it's such a great movie. I know we are going on a tangent, but that was a great movie. Ridley Scott directed it, and people like Ridley Scott. Like when he did that movie, it was like, what? The guy who did Blade Runner and Alien is doing Thelma Louise.
I know, and yet it's visually so stunning. You know, it's
Ridley.
Yeah, so great. Anyway, so about the book. So yeah, so that's what the book is. But thank you for that.
And then what else are you up to? What other things do you do?
So I teach, I do consulting, I do private consulting, I speak, which I really enjoy. Last year, and I'm doing it again this July, I was a mentor at a retreat at this castle in France called Miroir Castle.
Tough job, tough work.
You know, there are some perks. Anyway, it's Miles Copeland. I don't know if you know that music producer. He used to produce The Police. It's his castle. But it's fantastic. It's just a great experience. And then I'm going to do another one of those in a monastery off Naples.
Again,
island.
rough.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah.
It's rough. It's rough.
This is the best part, honestly, of like being a writer. Anyway, that's in April of 2020, the Italy one. So I do that, and I am working on something. I haven't written anything in a while for all the reasons we discussed. Right. But I do have a story I want to tell. So
Good.
A lot of people have told me I should write it as a book. For a number of reasons. Hollywood's more interested in books right now than they are in original screenplays.
IP.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's really true. I mean, the manager who came to speak at my seminar or whatever at UCLA recently was saying literally even self-published books they're more interested in than they are in an original screenplay. Like it sort of doesn't matter. It's as long as it's something else first. It's stunning. But having said that, you know, I've spent all these years in screenwriting. That's what comes to me naturally. And to try to write it as a novel, although the thought of like not having anybody mess with it is really appealing. It's kind of daunting to me. So we'll see. But working on that.
I'll tell you what, if I can write a book, because I have a story that I had to tell, and I wrote a book that just got released about a crazy story in my life as a filmmaker. And it got published, and people are already asking me, when's the movie coming out? Because a friend of mine wanted me to write the screenplay. I'm like, I'm not going to write the screenplay. I'm not going to go chase money for a screenplay. And I can't tell the whole story in a screenplay. It's going to be so much more difficult. But what is a lot of freedom in a novel. It is a tremendous amount. And I've written more screenplays than I've written anything else in my life.
Really?
It just flows. It's so... It's nice. It's
See,
nice.
well, you've encouraged me. I appreciate that. I don't know. I don't literally like kind of know how to do it on the. I'm so used to being spare, like now I've got to
Right,
get it in
right.
my head and I've got to like, they said, it's like, I find that really challenging. Maybe I should just like map it all out and then
It's like
try writing the first chapter.
it's like speaking publicly, doing a 10-minute speech versus a 3-hour speech. Like it's much harder to do a 10-minute speech than it is to do a 3-hour speech, because 3 hours you can just meander and tell stories and
So
kind of
you think
go
the
on.
novel is like the 3-hour speech?
Absolutely, because I was able to go into places and tell little detailed stories, and then not have to be so precious with the
Yeah.
words. Because when you're a screenwriter, they just beat you down with like every single word has to mean something. The
Yeah.
description has to move the story forward. Where
Yeah.
in a novel, you literally just, all the chains are off and you could just write. And it is honestly, for me as as a screenwriter and as a writer, it was so freeing. I would like, I'm
Oh,
just going to write 1,000 words today, and I just write 1,000 words, and I'm going to write another 1,000 words today, and there's no, the structure is so much more freeing. As a writer, it feels so much better for me. I do think that novel writers have an extremely difficult time becoming screenwriters, but I think screenwriters have a much easier time becoming novel writers.